Welcome to the Client Generation Podcast, a show where we interview some of the most successful people in real estate to help you understand how to generate leads, build a brand, and convert more clients in your business. What's up, everybody? Grant Wise here. Welcome to the Client Generation Podcast. Excited today to be joined by Gordon Watson and Steve Powers. They are with Watson Powers Coaching. These guys are absolutely incredible. Their resumes are second to none, and the results that they help people get in their business is just absolutely insane. This episode will be packed with notes, so make sure you've got something to write with, and let's just dive right on in. Gordon, Steve, thanks for joining me on the show.
Hey, thanks, Grant. Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I love it. Well, just give me the quick backstory. I know you guys have such an incredible history in this industry, helping coach real estate agents and teams and brokers, those types of things. But just give us a quick backstory. How did you get to where you are today?
Steve, why don't you start?
Gordon and I have known each other for going on 25, 30 years. I think together, Gordon, we've probably done about 50 years total coaching, haven't we?
Yeah, over 50.
Over 125,000 half-hour calls. So him and I have the same passion for helping other people develop their skills to the highest level. Both Gordon and I have coached basketball teams, football teams, lacrosse teams, and real estate teams. So Gordon and I got together because we had the same passion to help other people grow. And it was just a natural conjoining of both of our skills to make Watson Powers Coaching.
Yeah, Steve and I have always gotten along very well. We think a lot alike, have a lot of the same philosophies. And when we started Watson Powers Coaching, it was just a natural fit.
Yeah.
What's interesting, the longer that Steve and I work together, the more that we notice that we balance each other out. Steve's got strengths that I don't have, and I've got strengths that he doesn't have, and it's really been a great fit. And most importantly, our clients are the ones that benefit.
That really is the power of a team, isn't it?
It is.
I love it. And that's primarily who you guys focus on coaching today. Is that right, teams?
Yes.
You guys have helped accomplish some help some teams accomplish some pretty incredible things. As I've researched, you've helped teams go from basically little or low volumes from a transaction standpoint up into the hundreds as far as transactions. You help them recruit, you help them implement systems and processes. It's pretty amazing. What do you feel like is one of the most important components to building a team whenever somebody's getting started?
Well, I think in order to get started, you've got to understand what culture you want to create with your team. What kind of a team do you want to create? What type of people are you looking to hire? There's what is the structure? What's your pay scale going to be? What's your structure going to be like? Mm-hmm. What role are you going to play as team leader? Because not every team leader plays the same role.
Yeah.
Do you want to remain in production? Do you want to pull yourself out of production and spend time on other things you enjoy? So you've got to make some decisions right up front as to what do you want it to look like. That's the start. And then as you do that, then it's starting to put the pieces together. And that's where people hire us to help them put those pieces together.
I think that if you look at the stats, obviously this whole build a team culture is running full steam ahead in the real estate space, but so few teams actually make it. Steve, why is that? What is preventing so many teams from having success when there's been so many people that have come before them that have done it? You guys are doing it at a high, at least Gordon, you're doing it at a really high level yourself. So you're a practitioner, but Steve, what do you think is missing? What's causing the lack of success and people trying to build a team?
It's a great question. I think it comes down to what Gordon and I talked about earlier this year. Most team models are set up by brokerages to make the brokerage money. If you're with a franchise, they've got a team model, but the team model is not about the team leader making all the money. It's about how does this team stay within our franchise, buy franchise stuff every single week, every single month. So let's set up a team so it's good for the franchise. Where Gordon and I differ is that if we decide to take on a client and we go through a very extensive questionnaire, and we help them decide what kind of team they want. Gordon and I are in their camp only. We help them design a team that is for them. It's not a franchise team, although it does work within a franchise, but it's not designed around selling more websites or more cards or more postcards or more mailing. The team leader comes to us and says, help me develop a team with the skill set I bring to the table, how I want to do it, where I make money and my team makes money, and then everybody else. So that's, I think, why most teams fail, is because the model is set up not for the team leader, but it's set up for the person who designed the team.
You know, one thing I would add to that too, Steve,
What's that, Gordon?
not everybody is cut out to be a team leader.
Nope.
That's a
Okay,
great
there's
point.
a lot of people that all they see is, hey, I'm just going to go out and hire all these salespeople and get them all working for me, and I'm going to make all this money. But you've got to have the knowledge and skills and leadership ability, and it certainly helps to have some experience, you know, in the trenches, actually listing and selling real estate. Because you're going to be training, you're going to be, you know, motivating and encouraging these salespeople, and not everybody is cut out to do it. I mean, Steve and I are very selective. We're not just bringing on clients to bring on clients. We're very selective in who we bring into this program, because we want to make sure the people that we bring into this program are going to succeed with what we're teaching them.
I chuckle when I hear you say that. I know you guys mean it too. I think look back when I was first getting started doing marketing and advertising work, you know, anybody and everybody was a customer. Like, yeah, if you got a pulse and some money, like I can help you.
If they pay, they stay, right?
Oh man. And obviously as I've gotten into it and I've aged into the business and worked with a lot of people now, it's like, oh man, can I get a blood sample? Can I get a personality assessment? Can I talk to your last 3 service providers? Like, I really need to know if I can help you or not. Because I think what you're saying is so true, is that not everybody's made out to be a team leader. Not everybody's made out to be a real estate agent. You know, there's a lot of people that are out there trying to make it buying and selling houses. And honestly, it's not a match. People that love this industry and could certainly fill other roles. But for some reason or another aren't having success, you know, as an individual agent or a team or, you know, a broker owner. What, in your opinion, or not even your opinion, in the combined 50 years experience you have, what's the makeup? You know, what is it that makes a great team leader? How does somebody know that they could be that?
No, I think the first thing is they have to have the desire to be in a group. So many real estate agents are individuals, which is what you need to be. This isn't a lone business if you're successful. But to have a team leader, you have to want to be part of a group and help that group succeed, which will help you succeed. If the team doesn't feel you're there to help them succeed, that the only reason you have a team is to push your income up, well, then the team isn't going to want to stay with you. I had the good fortune of attending a couple of Gordon's personal staff meetings with his entire team. And I got to tell you, folks, the compassion he has for those people to help them succeed, the drive he has to help them, that's a leader. Because most individual agents are all about get up in the morning, my appointments, me, which is what you need to do, independent contractor. But as a team leader, you got to set up your model. How do I help others succeed with me? And it's a different idea.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big believer in that great Zig Ziglar quote, the way to get what you want out of life is to help enough other people get what they want out of life.
Yeah.
And you got to focus on how you can help others. You know, I would add to your question there, Grant. I wouldn't say that it's absolutely mandatory that you have a lot of experience in real estate and listed and sold a lot of homes. But I'm going to say that there's a very, very, very small percentage of people that can do it without that background and that experience. I mean, I can tell you, I run a team. You know, my team's going to do about 500 deals this year, and I do sales meetings with them literally every single day. And if you don't have a depth of knowledge, what are you going to show up and say? What are you going to show up and do?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you haven't been there, done that, it's awful hard to talk about it.
Yeah. I can imagine. Without question.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
what I
know
love.
Steve and I both. Steve, what have you sold somewhere over 6,000 houses over your career?
A few. I've been fortunate to sell a few.
Yeah, a few. And I know I've done over 4,000 over my. I mean, so we both have a lot of experience in the trenches.
Right.
Okay, and I think that's important.
And still, so you've got it. I mean, you're on pace to sell 500 houses. I mean, you can learn a lot from practitioners. Like you can learn a lot from people actually out there doing it, especially still. I know you can learn a lot from people that have done it, but people that are still actively doing it, man, it's awesome.
And the big thing is on this is that even if you don't have the experience, if we take you on as a client, we bring our experience to your table.
Yeah.
We have some clients that don't have the experience, but they can hire an operations manager who does have the experience.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I don't know how to run a Cracker Barrel, but I bet if I bought a Cracker Barrel, I could hire a manager who could run a Cracker Barrel.
Mm-hmm.
So if you decide to talk to us and you go to our website, watsonpowers.com, and ask for a free coaching call, if you decide to hire us, we can also set you up if you don't have the experience, where you end up hiring an operations manager, because the big thing is you have to have the systems to run a team, and the systems have to be correct or the team will crumble and then everybody loses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
Let me add one more thing here, Grant, too, that just came to mind. I believe in order to be a great team leader, you cannot go into it with the primary focus that all you want to do is make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, granted, you will when you do it right, you'll make a lot of money. But the thing is, you've got to have a heart and a compassion to want to help people.
Yeah.
Because it's work. You're dealing with a lot of different personalities. You're going to be dealing with a lot of challenges with people that don't have the knowledge and experience, and you got to have the patience and the compassion, to teach and train people,
Mm-hmm.
bring them up. And if all you want to do is just make money, but you don't have that desire to really help people, you're probably not going to be very good at it, unless you do like Steve said, and you hire somebody to basically do it for you.
Yeah. I love it. I think it's such a great point that you bring up. I mean, at the end of the day, your true intentions will always be revealed, and those that are just trying to make money, I've found, like, literally, even in my own life, if I've made decisions because it's solely based on the fact that it was going to make me more money, I didn't never really ended up being as happy nor got the desired result. Whereas when my true desire, true intent was to help and to serve and those other types of things, I mean, it's just amazing, what happens as a byproduct of that.
Yeah.
I see it all the time. I see people go fast and end up going slow. And I see people go slow and then ultimately end up going fast. And I say that to ask, how important are systems and process and structure to building a team? I get the culture and the mission, the vision, and being aligned to that. How important would you say it is to understand, the systems and the processes and the structures that are needed to build a team?
It's critical. It's critical. I mean, ultimately what you're doing in building a team is you're investing in people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if it's just you and one other person, you can wing it. Okay. But the goal is to build a team and invest in more and more and more people. Mm-hmm. And you've got to have those systems in place so that so that it runs smoothly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, again, when Gordon and I talk to a client and we say, well, what kind of team do you want? Do you want to be an active agent? Do you want to be a non-producing agent? Do you want to manage? We'll spend a lot of time with our clients to decide what kind of team they want, what fits their personality style. If they want to be on vacation a lot, if they want to travel, well, they need to have someone running the team. If they want to work 24/7 on it and be the lead dog, then they can work 24/7. Mm-hmm. That's not our decision. That's theirs. And then we work on what kind of team structure that looks like, and then what kind of independent contractor agreements you need for that team, and how your systems have to look, because your business is only as strong as your systems. Mm-hmm. And when you have 10 buyer agents and weak systems, it'll all just fall apart.
Right.
But if you've got the right systems and the right coaches that are familiar with the systems and is tuned to what you're trying to do and result, it's not fail safe, but it's pretty near foolproof, because it's worked before, it'll work again as long as you follow it.
Yeah.
when people hire us, Grant, we can save them so much time. They don't have to go out there and reinvent the wheel. We've already invented the wheel.
Yeah.
We'll teach them the systems. We'll teach them the structure.
I tell real estate agents that all the time. I sorry to cut you off there, Gordon, but we, as an industry, real estate businesses, they've been built for decades. Nobody's guessing. Nobody has to innovate. Nobody has to do really anything. Business is business. Marketing is marketing. Sales is sales. People are people. Like, at the end of the day, there's principles that guide this industry and have for a very long time when it comes to building businesses. And if you just get a good coach that can help tell you, here's step one, here's step two, here's step three. Like old Tony Robbins says, you can compress decades into days, and you can go out there and you can be so successful. And it isn't going to happen fast, but it feels fast.
Right.
Well, it feels fast, but let me tell you, it's exciting working with Gordon, because I call it the 1, 2, 3 principle. You come to work for one of the teams that we set up with our coaching clients. We expect a brand new agent to do 1 deal in the first 30 days, 2 more deals in the next 30 to 60 days, and 60 to 90, 3 deals. So where the average agent goes to a place and they work there 4 months and they might have 1 deal, we expect on the systems we're setting up, an agent will come on a team and have 6 deals under contract in the first 3 to 4 months. Gordon, you hired some nice person I met in January. Using these systems, how many deals did she do in the first month?
Oh, in the first month, well, now I almost hate to say, because it's going to create a expectation, but she did 9.
Your weight loss may not be as much. Okay. but here's the thing.
A disclaimer.
Objects in the mirror may be closer than they appear. Right.
She didn't come in with 500 pendings. I was like, she did 9 in the first month. Gordon's like, yeah, we have our CRM. We have our morning routine. This is what she did. And she knew people. She started to close, and she did what, 6 the next month?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not uncommon. We bring people in and they do 3 their first month. And if they did 3 in 8 months at some agency, they'd be way ahead.
Yeah.
And so we believe that the average buyer agent should be doing 2 or 3 deals every single month after 90 days. So 24 to 36 is a minimum that they do on our teams. And you add 10 buyer agents and they're doing 24 to 36. And Gordon is a very humble guy. This is his 2nd full year with teams, right, Gordon?
Right.
He won't tell you because he's shy. He's 6'7", but he's really shy. Okay. Gordon's team is going to do over 500 deals with 11 people. That's average 50 plus per.
Did he just say, Gordon, that you're 6'7"?
Well, 6'6".
When you're 5'7", it looks like 6'7".
Don't exaggerate.
I had no idea you were that tall. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. When we're together.
I didn't mean to deter us from the podcast here, but like when he just like kind of in passing said, yeah, he's 6'7". I was like, wait, what? That was the most interesting thing I grabbed onto there.
Yeah.
You may need to go back and say whatever you just said again. I'm so sorry, Steve, but I could not let go of that. Like he just brushed by that. Like, oh man, that's incredible.
Yeah. When we're on stage, we look like Penn and Teller. So here's the thing.
I'm going to tell you, like, honestly, you and I, we've all had some Zoom meetings together a couple of times before. Yeah. I would have bet $1 million, Steve, that you were taller than Gordon. And now you're telling me it's the exact opposite.
It's his ego.
I think it's because Gordon's always sitting down and Steve's always standing up. That may be why it is.
But here's the deal. We know teams. Watson Powers is set up for teams. Yeah, it's not designed for franchises to make money off of teams. It's designed for the leaders to help their people make it. And so Gordon, I believe that within 90 days, everybody on the team that they have should be doing 3 deals a month. It's mathematically impossible not to. And I don't mean it's impossible not to, but think about it this way, guys. You're a full-time agent. Your team leader buys you leads. You've got a CRM with leads. We have systems for things for you to do. And you can't do a deal every 10 days. What are you doing for 10 days?
Well, and two, Grant, part of what Steve and I do is we coach our clients on how to train their new salespeople. We don't just say, hire them today and throw them out in the field tomorrow. No, we say, okay, here's the things that you need to teach your salespeople to do. Here's the order to teach them. And the process I take my people through is 2 weeks. It's a 2-week training process.
Yeah.
And that doesn't teach them everything they need to know about real estate, but it teaches them enough that they can get out there and start to be effective. You know, it is rare that I'll hire a salesperson that doesn't sell 1 to 2 houses their first month.
Yeah.
Okay. That's normal. And then like Steve said, then from that point, it's, you know, at least 2, at least 3. I've got salespeople on my team that have sold 12 and 15 homes a month.
Uh-huh. You can only do this type of stuff if you've got great systems and processes. I mean, combined, you guys have done what? I think it's like 140,000 calls or something like that, coaching calls in your 50 years experience, you know, as real estate coaches. And so over time, you'd have to be a fool not to develop a system and a process for how that works, right? I mean, there's no way you conduct that many conversations and don't identify the patterns and the systems and the processes. And
well, Grant, here's the truth of the matter. They say that the person who's doing the teaching is the one who learns the most.
Yes.
I mean, Steve and I have both coached some, you know, great teams, and while we're coaching and training them, we're also learning from them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're compiling all this data and all this information.
100%.
And we're learning.
100%. I was on the call just today. I was leading a conversation, a consulting call, you know, with marketing and advertising with some of our clients. And, you know, they busted out this 36-page lead follow-up document they put together, you know, based off of some of the insight. They took what we told them and they made it 1,000,000 times better. And we learned in that moment, you know, the same too. You can learn so much as an educator. I agree. Man, I love it. I got so many questions I want to ask you. I'm going to have to leave these guys listening to the podcast, hanging on the edge. You're gonna have to book a call with Gordon and Steve to get the rest of the insight. I got one more question I want to ask. You know, like I was saying, you can't just go out there and try to add people to your business if you don't have the systems and the processes and the structures. But once you do have the systems, process, structure, and you start to add the people, how do you guys teach people to identify the right hires? How do you guys teach people to find and recruit good agents that are going to do the work and so on and so forth?
Well, Gordon and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago with our group. We believe you hire on attitude, teach aptitude. Hire on attitude, teach aptitude. If a person has the right attitude and you have the right system, it's a marriage made in heaven. If they have the wrong attitude, then they're never going to make it. And so, you know, I'll let Gordon finish on that. But honestly, if you have the system and you hire someone with the right attitude, it's a plug and play.
Absolutely. I don't care whether somebody has a license. You know, I'll wait for them to get their license. I would rather have somebody that's got a lot of drive, a lot of focus, a lot of determination, and let them go get a license. I'll teach them what to do.
Yeah.
Okay, some people say, well, you got to have a license to come work for them. Well, I mean, ultimately, they're going to have to get a license, but I'm not just looking to hire people with a license. I'll be patient. I'll let them go through school, and then I'll teach them. But I'll tell you, Grant, I think the first thing that you got to do in hiring people, the very first thing that you got to do is you got to sell yourself on your team. You got to look yourself in the mirror and say, would I come to work for my team?
Yeah, that's such a great point.
Okay. And if you're not sold on it, then you got to get yourself sold on it. That's the first thing you got to do. And then from that point, then it's you know, deciding, okay, how am I going to go about finding them? And I'm a believer that you get what you're looking for. You know, the challenge is most people don't go into the hiring process knowing what it is that they're looking for. So and this is something that Steve and I can help them with. You know, it's okay. These are the character qualities that we have found to be successful. This is what we have found is the type of salesperson that you're looking for. And the more clearly you have that defined, the easier it is to find those people. It's kind of, you know, I like to give as an analogy. It's kind of like, have you ever lost your keys? You misplaced your keys. You know, and you're like, gosh, where did I put those keys? Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to picture what your keys look like. So when you're scanning the room, you know, oh, there's my keys. You know, it's easy to overlook them, and there they are sitting right in front of you. Okay. You got to know what it is that you're looking for. And the more clearly you have that defined, the easier it is to find.
That makes so much sense. That's a great analogy.
Well, you know, Gordon's a big Cowboys fan and I'm a Patriots fan. Okay. So the Patriots have a system. Here they are. They're heading towards the playoffs. after 1 year not being in. And it doesn't really matter who the players are, because Belichick and Kraft have a system to take really good players and make them great. We have the systems to help your really good players make them great, because honestly, Gordon and I believe every team member that somebody hires has the potential to be great, because people want to be great. So we just give them the systems and the trainings to allow that to explode.
Yeah. You know, I've had people come and say, well, I don't know what to cover in my team meetings. No problem. Steve and I can teach you that.
Get that
I don't know what to look for in the person we're hiring. No problem. Steve and I can teach you that.
Yeah.
The one thing that we can't just snap our fingers and instantly teach you is how to be a leader, how to be that person that's going to go out there and lead the team. Okay. Now, there are some people that may come to us and say, this is a goal that I have long-term. You know, would you coach us? And in some cases we would, depending upon the individual, we'll bring them on and help develop them, but they may not be ready day one to go out there and be a team leader.
Yeah.
But through the coaching and training that Steve and I can give them, we can develop them into that role.
Man, I love it. Guys, I'll tell you like this. I got so many more questions, but if you're listening to this podcast, think about a time when, you know, maybe you were sick, maybe you weren't feeling good, or maybe you, like me, unfortunately, just bent over and one of your ribs came out of place. You had to go to the chiropractor, right? When you walk into your doctor's office, you walk into your chiropractor's office, they'll ask you a few questions and you'll point to the problem and you'll say, this is what hurts, or this is what I'm not feeling good, or this is my temperature, or whatever. And typically within a matter of minutes, they'll snap their fingers and say, we know exactly what you need to do to make yourself feel better. Here's the remedy. Go home, enjoy it. You'll be fine in a day or two. And the reason I bring that up is because that's what it's like getting on the phone with a guy like Gordon and a guy like Steve. Is you may be experiencing problems. You may be not feeling so good about your success in the real estate industry. You may be wondering if this is the right path for you. But if you get on the phone with these guys, literally in a matter of a few minutes, they will be able to help you understand what holes might exist, what problems, what pain points, what all those other types of things, and hand you the remedy. And so I would really encourage you to go to watsonpowers.com and at least book a conversation to talk with these guys about growing a team, see if a team is right for you, diagnose maybe why your team isn't performing at the highest levels, ask questions. Because when you get around wisdom like this, you can learn a lot just by asking some really good questions. And I would encourage you to do that. You guys, I can't thank you enough for being on the podcast. This show has been amazing. And I know it's going to help a lot of people. So I really appreciate you stopping by.
Hey, thanks for inviting us, Grant. Appreciate it.
Love it. Love it. Guys, thank you so much for continuing to listen to the Client Generation podcast. We're going to make sure that we post links for how you can connect with Gordon and Steve. We encourage you to do that. Hope you got a ton of value from this episode, and we will see you on the next one. Peace. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Client Generation podcast. Please make sure that you rate and review this episode so that we can continue to bring you more incredible guests to help you grow your business. Thanks, and have an amazing day.